Hello everybody, you're welcome back again to the Reggae Appreciation Society. Reggae bands are heavily centered around the drums and the bass, otherwise known as the rhythm section, a subunit that sets the pace for the rest of the group. The drummer sets the tempo and upholds a structure for the other instruments to follow, like an engine in your car or heartbeat in a person. But the person with a heartbeat and no soul is essentially a zombie. And that, dear viewer, is where the bass guitar comes in. Just like salt in food, everything is bland and disjointed without the bass guitar. We all love how the bass sounds, whether we know it or not, as scientists have proven that when we were all in our mother's wombs, everything we heard was in bass. Due to its central role in the reggae sound, the genre has produced many of the greatest players of that instrument, and in this video, we're counting down our picks for the Magnificent Seven, the greatest bassists in reggae history. So let's go. Number 7. Jackie Jackson. Born Clifton Jackson in Kingston, Jamaica in 1947, he was among the first people to take the electric bass guitar mainstream in Jamaican music. He came from a musical family and in his teens attended a music school where he focused on the piano. But he fell in love with the bass after seeing Scatterlight's bassist Lloyd Brevett do his thing live on stage. He was heavily influenced by the Motown record sound, and after the breakup of legendary ska group the Scatterlights that divided into two, he was invited to join one half that was called the Supersonics. He went professional in those last days of the ska era, and alongside the likes of Lynn Tate, became one of the pillars of Rocksteady. His bass lines on the Alton Ellis classic from 1967 called Girl I've Got a Date is among the most influential and sampled bass lines of all time, and has been copied countless times over the years on songs like Liquidator by Harry J. All-Stars, and most popularly I'll Take You There by American gospel group the Staple Singers. As a bassist at Duke Reed's Treasure Isle Studios, he would provide the bass licks on countless classics that helped define Jamaica's music industry in the 1960s, and his later work as a member of Tooth and the Maytals was staggering. In fact, he provided the bass line for the song that gave reggae its name in Do the Reggae, and it would also be the mentor and blueprint for many bassists that made reggae a global sound in the 70s. Number 6. Lloyd Parks. This musical genius is the only one on this list whose talent as a vocalist is equal to his giftings as a bass player. Born in 1949 in Kingston, he started out as a singer with his uncle's band, before singing with other groups including famous rocksteady trio The Techniques for a while, before taking on the bass full-time at the dawn of the reggae era in the late 60s. He would set himself apart by introducing an adventurous style and deep groove that was the hallmark of classic 1970s roots reggae. As a member of the in-house studio bands at Joe Gibbs Studios and Channel 1 at their peak, he would provide the bass lines on smash hits like Dennis Brown's Money in My Pocket, Althea and Donna's Uptown Top Ranking, and Culture's legendary album 2/7's Clash. I can't stress enough how melodic his bass play is, as he took the instrument and turned it into a tool for melodic storytelling. And his own group, the We the People Band, have over the past 5 decades established itself as one of the most accomplished touring bands in Jamaican history, and not only backed Dennis Brown for 20 years, but have been the regular backing band at classic reggae festivals like Reggae Sunsplash and Reggae Sumfest. Number 5. George Fully Fullwood. If you're talking about someone who's been there and done that, look no further than this icon. There are very few artists who can boast of working with everybody, and he is definitely one of them. The founder and the leader of the legendary Soul Syndicate band, he gets the credit for being the leader of the group that created reggae's greatest instrumental in the classic Stalag 17 rhythm. He's truly one of the people who are instrumental in the shaping of Jamaican music as we know it today. He's played for Bob Marley, the Mighty Diamonds, Black Uhuru, Big Youth, Frankie Paul, Delroy Wilson, and I could go on and on. He was Peter Tosh's bassist after the exit of Robbie Shakespeare, a role he would fill masterfully for 7 years until the Stepping Razor passed away in 1987. And his last work with Peter helped the album No Nuclear War back the Grammy Award in that same year. Incredibly, this legend is still very active on the live music and touring circuits after more than 5 decades at the top of his game. Number 4. Flabba Holt. Errol Holt, aka Flabba Holt, is one of the most prolific bassists on the planet. He's truly among the most influential figures in reggae history if we're talking about people who oversaw the evolution of the genre as it morphed into the dancehall era between the late 1970s and early 1980s as one of the founders and bassists in the legendary Roots Radics. Once you hear Flabba Holt's bass play, you just know it's his, with his signature heavy and warm rolling tone. In fact, till date, when producers tell their bassists to give them the Flabba sound, they know exactly what to do. His band, the Roots Radics, created thousands of heavy rhythms that became classics, but they are mostly celebrated for their spectacular collaboration with legendary dancehall producer Henry John Joe Laws, for whom Flabba would create timeless masterpiece bass lines on tracks like Yellow Man's Zongo Zongo Gogo Zongo Zeng and Barrington Levy's Murderer, among many others. But his most critically acclaimed works were on Gregory Isaac's Night Nurse and Cool Down the Pace. The Roots Radics were the cutting edge of reggae by the 80s, and Flabba Holt was indeed at the heart of it. Number 3. Lloyd Brevett. Now what will this countdown be without one of the founding fathers of modern Jamaican music itself? The ska sound, which eventually morphed into rocksteady and then into reggae, was first perfected and performed by the legendary Scatterlights band in what were the late 1950s. The great Lloyd Brevett was the basis of that ensemble, which helped lay the building blocks of Jamaican sound. And every reggae bass player, including everyone else on this list, all carry his musical DNA. Unlike his proteges, who played the electric bass, he was the master of the upright acoustic double bass that he used to pioneer the blending of jazz phrasings with mento and R&B to create the quintessential ska bass line that became the platform for the one-drop rhythm in later years. For a classic example of his bass play wizardry, you need to take a listen to the Wailers' breakout hit single, Simmer Down, on which Brevett would work his magic. One of his students, Jackie Jackson, already covered in this list, would inspire and become the prototype for the legendary maestro coming up next. Number 2. Aston family man Barrett. This legendary band leader of the Bob Marley and the Wailers band made it very difficult for me to leave out of the top spot. Before his exploits with the Top Gong, he was truly one of the architects of the reggae sound as we know it today. As the bassist of popular Kingston band, the Hippie Boys, in the late 60s, he was the bass player on one of the first reggae songs in Bangarang for singer Stranger Cole, as well as Hold You Jack for Derek Morgan. But when his phenomenal talent was discovered by eccentric genius Lee Scratch Perry to join a studio backing band called the Upsetters, his exploits would go global. When the Perry-produced instrumental The Return of Django went to number 5 in the UK singles charts in 1969. After leaving Perry to join forces with the Wailers, he and his brother Carlton formed the rhythm section of that band and became the true engine room of that musical juggernaut that eventually became the greatest band in reggae history. There aren't enough words to describe Aston's spectacular bass play, as he proved to be the soul of Bob Marley's music machine, as exemplified in some of my personal favorite performances of his, like Kaya, Sun is Shining, and Coming In From the Cold, to name a few. To crown his out-of-this-world talent as a player, he would also mentor someone who I believe is the number 1 bass player in reggae history. And coming in at number 1 is the great Robbie Shakespeare. This Kingston native, who formed one half of the most prolific and legendary rhythm section in Sly and Robbie, was taught the bass guitar by Aston Barrett himself. After Robbie approached him one evening after a Hippie Boys rehearsal, he would learn quickly, and when Aston left that group to join Lee Scratch Perry's Upsetters, he would slot in seamlessly as his replacement. He would cut his teeth as a member of several studio backing bands in Kingston, and when he joined forces with Sly, he would fully unlock his potential as one of the top bass players on the island. He would power the Stepping Razors' solo career as the bassist in his backing band Word Sound and Power, and was the groove and genius behind Peter's greatest hits. After parting ways with Peter, he would also apply his brilliance to Black Uhuru, as that group became the greatest reggae act of the post-Bob Marley era. I believe his greatness not only lay in his incredible talent, but the sheer volume of classics that he played on. He would lend his phenomenal bass licks to tens of thousands of songs, including those for other genres, as he and Sly were in high demand by rock, pop, and R&B artists for years to come. Robbie Shakespeare's style of play was soulful, funky, creative, and technically flawless, and in my humble opinion, the greatest reggae bassist of all time. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.